The Royal Pharmaceutical Society in London. Its museum exhibits some of science's greatest moments and some not-so-great ones. If there's one group of people we tend to believe, it's scientists. They deal in fact, not fiction, evidence, not opinion. But there's a problem. Their views come to us via the media, and they sometimes rely on vested interests for their funding. So can we really believe everything we read about science?
Very little of science is actually a game changer. So if you read in the media that this new discovery is going to change the world, it's probably not going to change the world. If you read a new discovery, it's been reported in a scientific paper, it's going to lead to a medicine, it may do, but that's going to be way down the line.
But does it matter if the media get a bit overstimulated by the boffins?
For the most of the time, I think that people will see things like red wine's good for you, red wine's bad for you, and we'll take that with a pinch of salt, and it probably doesn't make too much of an impact. However, when it's the big stuff and we're being asked as members of the public to debate on whether we think we should be using a technology, whether we should be using animals in research or whatever it is, we really need to have the evidence, we really need to be guided by the correct information rather than by scaremongering or by someone who's got an agenda.
That said, even eminent scientists will admit dodgy stories aren't always the fault of the media.
I've just been to a university the last couple of days, which shall be nameless, where for the junior faculty scientists, if they don't publish 2 scientific papers a year, they're out. That's it. So if it gets to be October, shall we say, and you only publish 1, which might be a big one, the pressure on you to, if not to be dishonest, at least to be careless, is almost unavoidable. I mean, you're more or less forced into it. But under those circumstances, I really can't blame them.
And sometimes us innocent journalists are suckered by slick scientific spin doctors.
I'm completely shocked by the extent which newspaper and television and radio accounts of discoveries are led by press releases. You wouldn't, a decent journalist wouldn't simply report a press release from Conservative Central Office or from the Labour Party. They'd look into it, they'd go and ask awkward questions. I see that particularly perhaps in my own field, which is genetics, where the media are just hopelessly ready to swallow the idea of a gene for happiness, a gene for depression, a gene for high intelligence. It's not like that, it's much more complicated.
So, how can you spot when a science story passes the litmus test? Well, according to my researchers, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. But if other scientists are saying the same thing, that's a good sign. And that's a fact. Probably.